Welcome to a muzzled chat. Hope you're having a lovely day. Now we are going to try to hit a home run today. Hit something out of the park that's been irking me, that's been bugging me, and many other individuals. And a lot of folks, frankly, and I'll admit, if I were to be asked to really explain it up to this point, I'd trip over some words. So it's important that we don't end up just using talking points, that we understand the concepts. And what I want to cover today and make crystal clear that the United States of America is in fact a constitutional republic, never has been a democracy. Nope. Never was, never will be, never should be. The end. Quote, and to the republic for which it stands. It's actually really important that people grasp this, that in fact, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. Absolutely not. And some would try to manipulate, it's a similar kind of same difference. No, there's a big difference. There's a few components that operate essentially the same. But outside of those few components, the infrastructure is entirely different. So I really want to do a deep dive today to leave no more gray areas for any of us on understanding the difference between the two, being able to talk about the two, so we're no longer essentially just using talking points, that we grasp what our founding fathers structured for us. And it's great. There's grave importance between the two. So for starters, this becomes extremely telling. You understand how they've been psyoping, socially conditioning, manipulating us. This is the great blessing, once again, of the pandemic, because evil overextended its hand. It shows the vast corruption, especially out of these news organizations and the freaking talking heads. And on this very topic, there are reels upon reels upon reels where they are just pumping democracy down your throat. I guess more so in your ears, time and time again. But you got to understand, psychological warfare. This is exactly psychological warfare. It's social conditioning. It's mass psychosis. It's literally a war tactic. And we are not to accept a democracy. We are to stand strong for a constitutional republic. And we'll get in as to why. So here we go. This becomes so telling right here. Why are they pushing it like this?
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Wow. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Wait, let me guess.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Fox.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
ABC,
This is extremely dangerous to our
Channel
democracy.
10,
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Fox.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is
You get the point, right? They've been pumping it down our throat, in our ears. They've been pumping it in our ears for years. Okay? And so many now are using, and I have too. I mean, I kind of like democracy's dead, because even as they explain it, because it actually leads into communism, socialism, a hierarchy, things that are no good. Constitutional republic gives infrastructure, checks and balances, even to those that are in power. So this gentleman has a good way of explaining it. Let's hear him real quick.
You know, we don't live in a democracy, because a democracy is two wolves and a lamb deciding what's for dinner, okay? It's not just majority rule. It's a constitutional republic. And the founders set that up because they followed the biblical admonition on what a civil society is supposed to look like.
Very well said. Now, if you didn't catch that, we got an image here. So this image actually has Benjamin Franklin. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's quotations in here, but I did not verify whether or not this came from Benjamin Franklin. So now I'm curious. But in this image, it's got the question, why do we have a republic instead of a democracy? Let Ben tell you. Quote, democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what's for lunch or for dinner. So it's essentially a system. Majority rules. Seriously, think on that one. There's great fallacy right there, captured right there. Clearly, the two wolves outnumber the sheep, so the vote goes against the sheep. It's a sad story. The sheep gets eaten. So it works out for some people, but not for others. It's like national sovereignty, not individual sovereignty. Catch my drift? And the most important teacher in a huge way is history. Look at history. Democracies have failed. And we'll dive more into it in this very episode, that people flee those countries. I wonder why. Now, don't be mistaken. That could be chalked up to sound really appealing and a really good infrastructure that we should have. But there's big fallacy. Tim Pool even does a good job, and we'll dive into it, but something about the farmers needing the water for the crops and this and that, but to vote on a mass scale, obviously the city folk not understanding certain things, not being experts as to the water needed, vote against it. They outnumber the farmers in what they need, and they vote essentially something that it's just not good. It clearly leads to suffering. The farmers are going to suffer, and then the city folk are going to suffer when there's no crop, there's no food, there's no harvest. It's kind of like the wolf scenario. Sure, the wolves won. They came out on top, but that poor sheep got slaughtered for dinner. There's great fallacy to this whole idea of democracy. It's not a quality infrastructure or whatever you want to freaking call it. See, I'm still working on things. I'm no freaking expert, and I'll never claim to be one. And that's what's important. And that's what actually I'll try doing even myself. That's why I use the bookmarks and I save links and I build out things in my phone. So at the point I'm in conversation and I'm a little fuzzy, but I want to bring it home, I could just tell the individual, look, I'm a bit fuzzy on the difference between in this moment. Like, I've done thorough research and this link essentially made sense to me. So pull it out, play that clip. But this is a very good conversation to have, and I feel a very good time to be having it so we can grasp it. Let's continue. This man hits it out of the park, touching on things that we weren't taught, that we should have been taught. This should be just embedded into all Americans. This is powerful stuff. By the way, you definitely want to wait till the end. We got the heaviest hitting. Holy moly. This one's good, I'm not going to lie. And a lot of the content's really good. But the gentleman at the end, he's the home run. Hands down. Like, I'm excited to get there, so let's get there. But all of these kind of touch on other angles. So it's important to go through them all, because some of this may resonate with you. And, oh, okay, now I'm starting to get it more than just that home run hitter. What am I saying? Let's go.
The majority vote at the polls select their rulers. The rulers then have absolute power to make whatever laws they please by majority vote among themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also, by majority vote at the polls, select rulers who make laws by majority vote among themselves. But the rulers cannot make any laws they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power.
Ooh, that just captured it. Oh, the beauty of a constitutional republic. You might have to play this back some to understand what this old timer's telling us. But let's continue.
The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy.
Isn't that the truth? You can see it. I mean, we just showed it with the talking heads.
The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term,
Boom.
totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. The writers of the Constitution were anxious to safeguard liberty against dictatorship, monarchy they called it. But their chief anxiety was to protect the country against democracy.
Wow.
Edmund Randolph, delegate to the Constitutional Convention from Virginia, said the general object of the convention was to provide a cure for the follies and fury of democracy. Elbridge Gerry and Roger Sherman, delegates from Massachusetts and Connecticut, urged the Constitutional Convention to create a system to eliminate the evils that flow from the excess of democracy.
The evils that flow from the excess of democracy. It is not good, folks. It can sound good, but it's not. A constitutional republic. Once again, and to the republic for which it stands. We need to get back to that, and we've been losing it. Time to understand the value of it. Let's continue, and hopefully we capture that importance here. That's the whole point of this episode.
Alexander Hamilton, delegate from New York, said, "We are now forming a Republican government. Real liberty is not found in democracy. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy." John Adams, one of the giants of the American Revolutionary period, said, "Democracy will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all.
Wow.
And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, democracy will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel."
Ooh.
America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic, for which our flag stands, not to a democracy.
Right.
The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights.
Wow.
Bowman asked him what kind of government the convention had given America, and Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Very old and very wise, Franklin saw through the mists of time to the day when Americans might trade their freedom in a constitutional republic for the promise of government guaranteed equality and security in a democracy.
Wow.
And beyond that, to the day when democracy inevitably degenerates into dictatorship, guaranteeing nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty much the home run even in and of itself. But it's still kind of hard to explain, isn't it? It's still hard to kind of grasp. Makes sense. But we need to be able to absorb it. We need to be able to talk out on this. We need to be able to reaffirm and confirm in and of ourselves. So when someone says anything, even along the lines of like, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, we could be like, good. I hope he's successful with that. Because we are not a democracy, nor do we want to be. Okay, let's dive into this one from Tim Pool. He states CNN gets owned. Trump supporters say U.S. is not a democracy. They are right. The footage he plays, I can't say CNN gets owned, but when you see these interactions, I feel that's where, for me, I was like, wow, we really need to do our homework and understand this better. All Americans. I mean, once again, look how hard evil is trying to embed the ideology of democracy. I mean, this whole current infiltrated, occupied government body, same thing. I could think back on Kamala and Biden. They've said it so many freaking times, countless. So they're literally poisoning the minds of we the people. So unfortunately, even some of the Trump supporters in here by the CNN reporter were caught off guard, and they really didn't have a good explanation, which is okay, but it would be nice to see more people understand it and be more prepared.
This is a CNN segment. Kyle Becker tweets, CNN gets absolutely owned trying to school Trump supporters that America is a democracy and not a republic. This is really interesting. It's a bit long, so we'll only play a little bit of it.
President Biden touts his re-election campaign as a fight to preserve democracy. But if you ask some Trump supporters, the former president is not a threat to democracy because the United States is not a democracy.
I'm just going to pause real quick and say, everybody knows this, but we are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic with democratically elected representatives.
Clearly not everyone knows it, Tim.
What that means is you send someone you think will do a good job to do the job because you're not an expert. Democracy is when everybody votes on a thing, and then if they get the majority, it happens.
CNN's Donny O'Sullivan.
That was a decent explanation. This freaking reporter, what a fool.
Spoke to some of those supporters.
What happens if Trump loses?
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
No,
he didn't.
He's
going to win?
Yes. Without a doubt. No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. We're done. If Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy, they're the ones that are killing democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
They're bad for whatever. Okay, we get some fighting back now. This is good.
A republic.
We're a republic.
We are not a democracy.
Republic. We're not a democracy.
One thing.
What do you bet those folks were actually asked and they responded good? That's why it didn't end up on the CNN coverage. So they aired the ones that didn't know how to respond so well. Selective editing, right?
We've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
We're not.
Isn't really a democracy. No. They're not saying it's not really a democracy. They're saying it's quite literally not a democracy.
At all.
It's not a democracy. It's a republic.
It's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
But for centuries, America has celebrated its democracy.
Democracy is worth dying for. Democracy remains the definition of political legitimacy.
But some Republicans and pro-Trump media are pushing the idea that America is not a democracy.
See, they're trying to demonize it, and they went back in time too, because this PSYOP, it's been happening for a long time. But once again, it's crazy that they could be taking the stance and putting it on kind of this wacko Trump supporting ideology and to the republic for which it stands. What are you missing here? Do your research. You have drank the Kool-Aid, or clearly it's not even the Kool-Aid at this point, because these are the talking heads. They're owned. They say what they're paid to say, no matter how damning it is to our country. That's why I find a lot of this treasonous behavior, even on behalf of these so-called news stations, because they're not a free media. It's crazy. What a crazy world we live in.
The United States of America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
Yes. The United States of America is not a democracy. You don't want to be in a democracy.
We are not a democracy.
He didn't read the full quote there, but a democracy is two wolves and a lamb deciding on what's for lunch. A republic is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote.
Yep.
We are a republic.
Is America a democracy?
America is a democracy. It was founded as a democracy.
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories. I hear a lot of things out on the road.
See, there they are trying to demonize anyone from standing their ground on truth. So how fitting. Truth is the new hate speech. Let's just give a plug to Black Eagle Apparel. Folks, go get your Black Eagle Apparel merch, freedom merch right now. Heck, we need more support. Bad, really bad, something fierce. We have some unmuzzled chat shirts. That's like 2 birds with 1 stone. 3, I mean, you get an awesome fitting t-shirt. You get a talking point. You get to channel people into everything we're preparing. And you can get selective as to, you know, using your own discernment regarding these interactions with these individuals and maybe steer them towards an episode you think is going to resonate with them the most. We're trying to really provide just a lot of different angles to, I don't know. We got different bags of seed. Okay. So hopefully there's a seed for everyone that everyone will enjoy a little bit.
Does he come from the democracy of Ireland?
And to the republic for which it stands.
There we go.
One nation. And if we want to go back to the roots of the country, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We add the under God later.
Yeah.
But to hear Americans, people who would describe themselves as patriots, say that America is not a democracy, that stopped me in my tracks.
You are hearing people say America is not a democracy because there are people around Trump who want them to be saying that, who've been planting that narrative.
Is America a democracy?
My AQ is history teacher.
Yeah.
I think, well, not right now, but we're a republic.
What's the difference?
I feel like democracy.
Oh boy.
That
I wish I could.
it's government control. I don't see freedom in democracy. I see freedom.
You don't need to do this, CNN. There are much more well-informed people,
Yes, there are.
and finding some random Trump supporters. I get it. But you know what? A lot of people do this. They go to Times Square. They go to Democrat rallies. Yes. A republic is like you have a collection of jurisdictions that have formed a cooperative government with each other. In this instance, you have states which have formed a federal government which is to serve them, and that is the Republic of the United States of America. A democracy would be a single body where the people vote on things, and there can be different structures of that democracy. That's true. But there's direct democracy, and democracy typically involves the will of the masses, and we do have referendums in some states, but the United States is a republic, and that's why states each get 2 senators to represent the state.
You know what's kind of funny about it, too, is like the Athenians tried democracy, and then the Romans looked at the Athenians and went, absolutely not doing that, doing something completely different. We're going to take the simple part of that, and then we're going to make it way more complicated and better. It took like 1 generation for people to realize democracy is not a good idea at the international scale.
I say we repeal the 17th Amendment and eliminate the popular vote for federal senators, because the original idea was your local representatives would choose who your senators are going to be that go to the federal government. And the idea was better men would be chosen. The state will be represented by people who were chosen for the job. And the argument was, I believe this was like the beginning of the 1900s, end of the 1800s, too many people were getting their buddies in and it was corrupt, so we should turn it into a popular vote of the state. The states will vote for who they think should represent their state to the vote. That's the pointless. That's what Congress does. Congress represents the will of the people. The state's interests are the state's interests, and this severed the average voter from their local representatives. And now people seem to think that your federal congressman is going to clean up your state. Not going to happen. They might, however, get federal funding for you. Let's play a little bit more.
Honestly, the word democracy and the word republic have often been used interchangeably.
No, absolutely not.
There isn't a meaningful difference between them.
So much of the warnings and criticism about Trump is that he is a threat to democracy, that he is anti-democratic.
Absolutely. If they can convince people that we don't have a democracy, then it's okay that Trump is attacking democracy because it doesn't really matter.
So why has democracy become a bad word?
Because it's being used in a way to change the flavor of our country, which is a republic.
These words were used in different ways in the 18th century, and it's true the
Oh, man.
Don't mean anything, and I make them up as I go along.
They were used interchangeably in the 18th century. That's why Benjamin Franklin went out of his way to make a point about the difference. Right. Okay, great. Yeah,
I'd like to give a really simple explanation of the difference between a democracy and a republic. And a republic is Rhode Island has like a city, and they get 2 senators. California has very many, and they have 2 senators, because they are equally represented as state bodies in a republic system. Now, a democracy would strip those senators away, and you would vote purely by population.
Right.
What happens in places like this, California is a great example. I love bringing this up. When I went to meet the farmers during the drought, they were not allowed to use the surface water for their crops because of democracy. Because the way the vote worked on surface water was the millions of people who live in cities say, we vote to get the water. And the people who live in the farmland in the rural area said, we vote to keep the water. And they went, unfortunately for you, you're 10% of the population. We are 90. Majority rules. Welcome to democracy.
There it
so they
is.
took the water away from the farmers. In a republic, California cannot outvote Rhode Island's interests. They have to go to the federal government and compromise, and it is rather difficult. They have to negotiate with other states. They have to. If we went full democracy, California, New York, and Illinois would form a compact and say, let's just cut deals with each other and we own the country.
Wow.
And then doesn't matter where you live. If you're outside of those places, you don't have the population. And it would be basically major urban centers, and they would be in total control of everything everyone else does. We still have an element of that because you still have Congress. But these people, I absolutely love how evil CNN is, because I know for a fact that people put this together, they know, they've done a Google search. They Google searches, they know what they're saying is a lie. They know they brought on someone to do an interview who is lying because they think people are stupid. They think the people who watch CNN are stupid. And unfortunately, I have to agree, people who watch CNN are stupid.
No, I agree. And for them to say, oh, this is just a narrative that Trump is playing with people around his rallies. Well, it must be amazing that Trump has a time machine and he went back and got in Ben Franklin's ear when a lady asked him when he was coming out of a meeting that what kind of government we have. And he said, a republic if you can keep it. So it's just amazing that Trump must have went back in time and changed Ben Franklin's mind as well.
He is a time traveler.
If this country was founded as a democracy, first of all, that's impossible. If New York went to Georgia and said, this will be a democracy, we will vote by popular vote, they'd be like, what? You'll take our stuff from us? Absolutely not. Not going to happen. In fact, so the first attempt at government was the Confederacy, the Confederate States of America, and then, or the Articles of Confederation, I should say, not the Confederacy. That was
people knew what you were saying.
Right. It was the Articles of Confederation, and it didn't work. It was too weak, and so they said we want to create a stronger federal government, and then I believe it was the Anti-Federalists wanted the Bill of Rights. They said, we want you to write down to guarantee you will not do these things to us. So the Constitution instantly got the Bill of Rights, of which I believe originally there were 17.
And they narrowed it down because they were like, we don't need 7 of these. They're just obvious within the document. And then 200 years later, the people did not agree with that.
Well, they combined many of them and changed the language on some of them. They screwed up the Second Amendment miserably. And the original first article was congressional, I believe it was congressional pay.
Okay. They brought up some good points there. I hope that brought some clarity for some folks. I mean, I needed this. I sure hope it's helping with you. No, a constitutional republic is not a democracy. The founding fathers wrote extensively on this detail and explained why we are not a democracy and why democracy is evil. While similar, a republic is not a form of democracy, as the Constitution can usually overrule the majority. It should overrule the majority. Now there's this image here. It's pretty good. Try to explain this picture here. You got 2 circles that overlap a little bit. Obviously, on one side, we got democracy. On the other side, we got republic. Now, in the center overlapping, which are similar, vote for change, economic system, social structure. Under outside of the overlap, so under democracy, you have majority-based decisions, national sovereignty, no constraint on the government. That's all really bad. Under the republic, we have constitutional-based decisions, individual sovereignty, and constraints on the government. When it's operating that way, once again, like Franklin mentioned, a republic, if you can keep it. Does it seem as though we're operating that way? All of these links will be added in the comments. Why do I say comment? In the description of this very episode, as we do on all episodes. So if you want to see this imagery for yourself, just click through the links. Use whatever tools. I'm trying to help provide tools that we can use when needed. So it's up to you whether you put this tool in your toolbox. But dang it, isn't that frustrating when you pull out your toolbox and you need that tool and it's not there? We need to get organized. We can only retain so much, especially me. I'm unique. Feels like I have limited bandwidth to an extent. I'm glad to report it's getting better. Lyme brain is no joke. Memory issues is a huge part of Lyme disease, but things are getting better. And I know a lot of folks are struggling with memory and cognitive and energy, all sorts of things. So it's important we all, as we've said many times on this cast, let's up our resilience to the best of our ability. Let's take this life serious. We got to up our bandwidth. How many times does it need to be explained? The U.S. is a constitutional republic. Democracy is nothing more than mob rule. Thomas Jefferson. Okay. You all ready? This is fire. This truly is a home run. Gosh, he even has a hard work God shirt. I want this man on the podcast. Could someone track him down, get him on this podcast? He speaks so clearly. Oh my gosh, we need him on this podcast. All right. You know, we could do that together. Help me. Click the link. Look up this gentleman. Shoot him a message. Shoot him unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I'm awaiting his email. I would be honored and delighted and can't wait to have him on. We could talk about this very topic on an episode. And I'd imagine if he's this educated on this topic, what else this amazing man, what other tools he's polished up and has at his ready that he could gift to all of us. So in a sense, listeners, you could help me help you. Wouldn't that just be gold? Well, listen to him first. Hear it for yourself. Very well spoken, very educated.
When people tell me that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, I look at them as if I'm supposed to be offended. No duh, Sherlock. America is not a democracy. No matter how many times you hear the news say it, no matter how many times you hear Democrats say it, no matter how many times your misinformed family members tell you that democracy is what makes up America. It is not. We are a constitutional republic.
Amen.
Let me break down the difference, okay? In a democracy, the will of the majority would override or take away the rights and privileges of the minority.
Wow.
In a constitutional republic, such as America, we elect representatives who go ahead of us and enact laws to protect the rights of individuals against the will of the so-called majority. This is why America has been set apart from any other country. Do you want to know what involves a democracy? Communism. See, this is a word that's tossed around because these people want to get rid of capitalism.
I apologize. I'm distracted. My dog is sleeping under the table, literally pushing me as we're doing this episode. I want to play that back. I apologize. Let's play that back just a bit.
So-called majority. This is why America has been set apart from any other country.
Yes.
Do you want to know what involves a democracy? Communism. See, this is a word that's tossed around because these people want to get rid of capitalism.
Right.
And go into socialism.
Wow.
And ultimately become communism.
Right.
Well, I got good news for you. People are not fleeing in droves from constitutional republic countries.
That's right.
They are fleeing from democratic countries that are now communist.
Such a good point.
Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, name it.
Right.
Talk to the people that are coming from these countries. Democracy isn't something you want. You think you want it. Imagine if 70% of America was Christian. And we all voted according to our religion. And we were a democracy. Imagine how that would put you.
Right.
The only reason why you're able to believe the way you believe, speak the way you're able to speak, and do the things you're able to do is because we are a republic and not a democracy.
Mic drop. Wow. I'm sitting here trying to really absorb it, as we all should. In fact, if you have a very clear, profound way of explaining this, drop it in your own comment to this episode. Give us more shiny tools to put in our toolbox. Be very much appreciated. But that right there, so powerful.
So, will you please stop saying that? Because it makes you look crazy.
Ooh.
So next time you hear somebody say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, tell them, I know and I'm glad. Because Lord knows Biden is a threat to the republic.
True. They are a direct threat to our republic, and they must be stopped. And it's up to you and I to stop them. Yippee, right? That's why we need to assemble. We need to get more engaged. And by you being here right now, listening to this, you are showing up. I applaud you. Keep showing up to this podcast, other podcasts, taking the calls to action seriously, the educational opportunities, the self-refining opportunities, and adding input. It's simply through the unification we'll get more brilliant ideas, more effective ways on addressing things, and we can overrule all this corruption that's fighting tooth and nail to destroy our republic, which would destroy our independent sovereignty, liberty, freedom. Our country's falling apart. We got to take this serious, folks. And I know, once again, so many of you are. And I'm so grateful for you. What a beautiful opportunity we have. I get it. Wish things could be a little better and we're living more blissful utopia, right? But with great challenge comes great blessing. When we show up, we face that challenge head on, from the little situations in our life and to the bigger stages. We can no longer ride that gray area. We really need to get involved more now than ever. I mean, you could hear it. This evil, corrupt tyrant takes time out of his busy vacation schedule, because it's pretty much all he's doing as a president, just vacating, to claim that, quote, democracy is on the ballot. Mind you, while trying to imprison and throw off the ballot his chief political opponent. The sheer hypocrisy. It's a hierarchy. It's a two-tiered system. Let's go. Let's tear down this two-tiered system. Let's see some accountability. We outnumber them. No wonder they're trying so hard to dumb us down, confuse us, divide and conquer. No wonder. You could see all the different war tactics taking place, and they're becoming very effective. Because simply, no one in their right mind would sit idly by, especially after the pandemic, and not actively go after the ones that tried to murder them and their families. They were the conspiracy theorists. They are the criminals. They are on the wrong side of history. And they tried covering it all up and controlling everything at the point they were censoring on the level they were. Isn't it so clear? It's really hard to look at this demon, yet even hear his voice. But let this light that fire under you. After what you just heard, what we just learned, can you see what they're trying to do here? Listen to this.
America, as we begin this election year,
we
must be clear. Democracy is on the ballot. Your freedom is on the ballot.
Lie.
America.
You see what they're doing? It's such evil, demonic. It literally turns my stomach. This truly feels like a table flipping moment, folks. There is such things as righteous anger, and it's time we fire up. The end. Okay. Let's just get through the daily devotional, and once again, I'll just challenge you to pull out the Bible and read the scriptures for yourself. There's great blessing with that. The choice is obviously yours. You have the free agency to dive into that or not. But June 20th reads, I speak to you continually. My nature is to communicate, though not always in words. I fling glorious sunsets across the sky. Day after day, I speak in the faces and voices of loved ones. I caress you with a gentle breeze that refreshes and delights you. I speak softly in the depths of your spirit, where I have taken up residence. You can find me in each moment when you have eyes that see and ears that hear. Ask my spirit to sharpen your spiritual eyesight and hearing. I rejoice each time you discover my presence. Practice looking and listening for me during quiet intervals. Gradually, you will find me more and more, and more of your moments. You will seek me and find me when you are seeking me above all else. That he promises us. Can I challenge all of you to enhance that resolve in seeking the one who loves you most, the one who will not let you down, the one that will give you strength, peace, happiness, direction? Doesn't mean it's going to get easier as you do that. In fact, more than likely it'll get more challenging. Devil's going to fight tooth and nail to take down anyone that challenges his lies in this life. But that's just it. We're only visitors here. What matters in this life? To me, what matters is that every day I put my feet on the ground, Satan curses, damn it, he's awake. Time to back Satan into a corner. We could do that with the help of our God and our Savior, Jesus Christ. I know that to be true, and I hope you find that. And I know a lot of you have found that. So let's go. Let's do this together. I can't wait. It's going to be a crazy year. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to give you the scriptures out of the daily devotional today. I apologize. But here we go. June 20th, first scripture reference, Psalm 8, 1 through 4. Then Psalm 19, 1 and 2. 1 Corinthians 6:19 and Jeremiah 29:13. I sure hope that those scriptures breathe some light and peace into your day, into your evening, into your life, that it fuels you in such a way, more important than that, that you feel the love God has for you. I believe as such limited beings in this state, we can't even fathom the love he has for each of us. I mean, look what he did through Jesus Christ, what Jesus went through. And dating back a bit now, and I love to have Arthur back on here in the near future, but I love how he shared, even if you were the only one here, he still would have sent Jesus to pave a way for you in this life. Yeah, that's a love we can't even comprehend in this mortal state. But every now and then, when we seek him, we get a glimpse. And that glimpse, to me, is what keeps me going back. And for those that are just no, and they want to push that away, it's like, there's something there you're missing. And it's the most beautiful thing I've experienced in this life. And that's the sole reason I share it. Not to impress my beliefs upon other people and shake them and this and that. I mean, I might try doing that for other reasons, like for the betterment of humanity while we're here. But on an individual spiritual level, no. That's everyone's unique path that only you can take. And it's your choice. Let's take a second and talk about some of our affiliations. I just love Unchained Wellness and their owners and what they've done for me. I can only imagine what they would do for you. Just give them a call right here in Gilbert, Arizona. Mention Unmuzzled, chat, and go get a free cold plunge and infrared sauna. Ask whatever questions you want on the services they provide, costs. I really feel they're in it for the right reasons. And they're going to bless a lot of people getting their lives back, upping their bandwidth, their resilience. They're God-fearing, patriotic, amazing individuals. I can't say enough good things about them. Heck, even if you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you want to check out Pure Benefits, another amazing family-ran business, give them a call. Tell them a Muzzle Chat sent you. They'll take care of you. And they provide a whole bunch of beauty, wellness things as well on an individual level. You could up your resilience by detoxifying the body from all the nasties, just magnifying our body's natural detox through sweat on a magnifying level through this infrared sauna blanket through Bond Charge. If you haven't clicked on that link and checked out all their products, you get a 15% discount through us. Just click the link below and check it out. To enhance that level of detox, I'd also advise you to check out the Tincture Masterpiece. It's been a miracle tincture. Not only is it eradicating all these metals, you can see the list for itself and the reviews and even the science behind it. But it also removes forever chemicals. What a blessing. It's important, folks. I'm getting updates and more people are jumping on board with Patriot Mobile. But as I look at the stats from the listeners to people jumping, not enough of us are doing it. Information's not going to hurt you. You could click the link below or you could simply call them. Just be sure to mention promo code UNMuzzled. Once again, that's promo code UNMuzzled. They will freaking take care of you. They'll waive fees and all sorts of things. But it's so important that we stop funding our freaking enemies. Every single thing we do. Stop shopping at Tractor Supply. Stop shopping at Target. Stop shopping at Walmart. Do it. You know, before I even give people a call to action on Amazon, we do need, I don't know if it's Squarespace, we do need alternatives. I get that. I mean, stop using Google. They're freaking spying on everything. And we have an episode coming up here soon. I mean, it's downright scary as to how they control us through the information. And they've said that out loud. So I digress. But just look into Brave, DuckDuckGo, many other browsers to be using. There's so many things we could do, folks. At the end of the day, it is just minor sacrifice. And when we take these steps, it actually does feel good. And when we influence others and we all get on board, amazing, beautiful momentum, like that's what we need to be doing. And the sooner we take these steps, I believe we will tear down. We'll get to the bottom of other things and tear down the frequency waves that are hindering us, more so putting us in a fight or flight state, the pollution in our water. So on a grand scale, we see real healing. We take out all the indoctrination through our medical institutions and Western medicine, if you will, and bring in real practicing medicine and getting to the roots of issues. We could accomplish all this together. Please just share this message far and wide. That's how we're going to achieve it all. Just banding together. Help us get this message out. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Till next time, take care.